Thank you so much, guys, for making time to be here with us. Before we go on, allow us to apologize ever so sincerely for not being here for a really long time. The entire month of April, we've not been here, but we're back. The devil is a liar. He has been fighting recordings through and through, and it's just been a very painful time for us. But we're here nonetheless, and we are so excited to be here again. But please forgive us. Kirosafi too. Please, samehea. My grandmother says samehea. Samehea, tafadhali. Yeah. So for what it's worth, my name is Daisy.
I'm Scholar. I'm Nyambura.
So every time we sign off on our messages on YouTube, we always write D, N, and S. So now you know who D, N, and S are. So thank you so much for joining us today. We're talking about friendships today. A couple of weeks ago, a very long time ago, we talked about friendships. We began that conversation, and of course, it is such a wide thing that cannot be finished in one sitting. So we decided to be breaking it down from that point on to just be covering many different topics within the element of friendship, just so that we can cover a lot more and express ourselves regarding this matter better. And so today we're talking about friendships, and particularly the red flags that we experience in friendships. It's not nice to let go of a friendship, but it's important to constantly be in review of a friendship to understand the things that are not working and the things that are working, so that you can do better in that relationship. So for today, red flags. And if you identify any of these red flags in your friendships, feel free to pause and address some of these issues, if they are indeed issues that you can address. And if they are not, and they have been going on for some time, feel free to leave the group. Really walk away from that relationship, and it's okay to do so. So we'll begin by the first one, and the first one is disloyalty. There are a number of things that we notice in our friendships, but if one of them is disloyalty, there are a few things that you need to be considering in your mind. But Scholar will tell us more about that.
Yeah.
What do you think about disloyalty in friendships?
So for me, I can talk about the flip side, what loyalty for me looks like.
Yeah.
And so for me, I will regard you as disloyal if you do not support me. So in the spaces where I need my friends to come in and you never show up, then surely I don't think we should be calling each other friends, because I expect that in friendships we protect and promote each other in our goals and in our ambitions. So if you're not promoting and protecting me, then loyalty haiko, and so what are we doing calling each other friends? Yeah, so that's what loyalty looks like for me. So if you're not doing that, then you are being disloyal, and for me that's a red flag, because I want to invest my time, space, energy, and love with people that are also loyal to me as I am loyal to them. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
And I think also maybe something else that would be disloyal is where your friend is constantly talking about you behind your back.
Yeah.
You know, you are at, when the minute you walk away, you become a topic in their presence.
Yeah.
And if you remember in the other episode, very long ago, when we were talking about friendships, Scholar, you talked about where you know if your friend is somewhere and an opportunity comes up, they can talk about you even in your absence. Like they can fight opportunity. I mean, they can take up opportunities on your behalf.
Yes.
You know, in your
as
absence.
if I'm seated in the room.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like part of someone being disloyal is even when they know that an opportunity would benefit you.
Yes.
They will not either, you know, take it up for you or or represent you in that space. I hope I'm making sense.
Yeah.
So, for example, I think it's very important that friends support each other.
Yes, absolutely.
And I honestly think if your friends are not supporting you, it could be in terms of business, it could be in terms of, you know, I don't know, life in general.
Yeah.
That's also something that you need to check and see. Something is wrong.
Yeah.
I like what you're saying, Yambura, because as you were talking about it, I kept on thinking about, just your friends being a support system.
Yes.
And it's very important because we've been doing these sessions where we've been talking about inner circle and stuff like that. Genuinely, I don't think you can have just one inner circle for many reasons. You'll not really find one person who feeds every single emptiness in you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can have many different inner circles. The numbers need to be limited. And I find not a long time ago, a couple of years ago, I found that it's important for these circles to be independent of each other, number one. But also number two, that they rather, even just that number independence, they don't really, their circles are not the same. You get, like, they're not codependent. Like, this can be our inner circle, but then if I'm in another inner circle, the two of you have nothing to do with it. Simply for the sake of just respect and sanity of thought and sanity of conversations that happen in that space also, because I find that when, again, this inner circle, again, is broken down into another, say, for example, you and I are in an inner circle, and then I'm in another inner circle with Scholar and somebody else, but the three of us are also in another inner circle. Am I making sense? I'll repeat. If the three of us are in an inner circle, for example, and then I'm also in an inner circle, another inner circle, where just the two of us are in, minus Scholar, I find that you're still a connection to this first inner circle, and there can be points of conflict there. Not to mean that friends cannot intermingle, but there are some levels of disrespect that can creep in when the inner circles intermingle like that. But just back to the essence of being supportive and loyal, I think it's very important for friends to be supportive of each other's businesses, marriages, ministries. Very, very important to just be supportive in each and every space. Great. I think the next one is Nyambura's, and you were talking about emotional and mental stability.
Yes. So causes mental and emotional confusion or chaos. In a world where the friendships we've seen are the friendships on reality TV and reality shows, drama really just becomes
a selling point.
Exactly, and so a lot of times we find that cascading into friendships. You find that cascading down to relationships and all that. And the truth is, our friendships are supposed to be spaces of peace, spaces of clarity, and spaces of insight.
Yes.
A lot of times you find that you constantly have that one friend or friends who it's just always drama. It's just, even when after you talk to them, you're always confused. Sometimes it's borderline emotional blackmail. Like you have an issue, you talk to them, you're suddenly the one apologizing about what was your issue. Like it always just puts you in a very funny space emotionally and mentally. That's a red flag. And it doesn't matter how emotional the making up bit is. When you meet and now you open your heart and say what was offending you. But if that is forever the cycle, you're forever feeling like emotionally someone is taking you for granted, someone is always hurting you, so you're always in a cycle of I hurt you, I apologize, and then now we continue, we start again, I hurt you, I apologize, we continue. Like, it's just, it's a cycle of mental anguish.
The friendship brings nothing else other than reconciliation and falling out.
Exactly. So really, our God is a God of peace. So
absolutely.
I think our friendships need to be spaces of peace. I'm not saying there'll be no conflict. There'll definitely be conflict. But conflict cannot be the norm, especially where it's a necessary conflict. There's healthy conflict, but there's a necessary conflict. You're forever crying because of a particular girl. You're forever crying because of a particular friend. It's really, that should be a red flag. Where are our red flags? One month again. So I think it's important that we analyze our friendships. And
Yeah.
if there's just a space where emotionally and mentally you don't feel taken care of,
Yeah.
it's not a healthy space.
Yeah. Would negativity also be classified under, friends that cause emotional
Yes.
or an emotionally unhealthy relationship? Like
yes.
a friend who just can't be positive for a second.
Yeah.
They're always putting you down. Conversation, you mention one thing and they bring out something else. You're like, ay, that took a quick nosedive. Like, that's not what I got. Like, that's not
Exactly.
what I envisioned this
Yeah.
conversation would be.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a job. Oh my God, you're so lucky. Heri wewe. Mimi nimekuwa nikitafuta job for like 7 years na bado.
With that kind of attitude.
Imagine. So it was happy news.
Yeah.
Now it's
Like I even was excited to come tell you about this
Yeah,
news.
yeah.
The minute you receive it, you can't celebrate it.
Yeah.
You find a way to just flip it and it becomes something that it really did not need to become.
Yeah.
Like I understand you've struggled, you've looked for a job for 7 years. Mi niligraduate last year na nimepata job, but the two matters have nothing to do with each other.
That's
like,
true.
can we celebrate?
Yeah.
At least I can take you for lunch end month.
I think
true.
the most interesting thing about this whole thing of emotional instability in friendships sometimes also has to do with the fact that we don't like accepting that some friends in our lives are with us because of certain reasons. So the minute you stop meeting that
Friends with
particular need,
benefits.
exactly. So the minute you stop meeting that particular need,
Yeah.
or the minute they feel like whatever has happened in your life at this time will cause you to stop meeting that particular need, then that
Oh, wow.
you get like
Yeah.
they now resort to trying to see how else can I make sure this need is still met.
Yeah.
So I think it's also like important that you also analyze if your friend constantly reacts in a particular way when you tell them whatever, something good about yourself,
Yeah.
or you tell them something good has happened, or you tell them something is happening that is going to pull you away from them.
Yeah.
If you notice the reaction is consistent, you also need to start asking yourself then probably, why are they my friend?
Yeah, yeah. What is this benefit this friendship is bringing?
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Let me just write on something that you were saying about negativity, and maybe it was my third point, but let me just bring it forward and it becomes my first in the series of others. It's just friends, genuinely, just like what you're saying, friends who are always negative. And for me, I like how you're putting it. For me, it would be, friends who are constantly living in historical injustices. And by that I mean friends who just can't get over the bad things that have happened to them,
Yeah.
particularly
Yeah.
in a season of their life.
Yeah.
So constantly when you're meeting, it's, you're sharing good vibes, you're having a nice conversation, and then you say something and it sparks them to, 2 years ago when Nani did this to me, I really felt like, and you're like,
Again.
I think we had this conversation the last time we were hanging out.
Yeah.
It's found a way to come back into this conversation again.
Every time.
Every single time. If it's not that, it's, when Nani hurt me,
It's unhealthy.
Yeah.
it's very, very
it's
unhealthy.
And that even weighs you down.
Yeah.
Like we'll keep sorting the same issue
Yeah.
over and over
Yeah,
again.
yeah. You find that you even just don't have capacity to meet this person.
Yeah.
Some of us are very quick to, just not available. Because I'm like, I don't like the way I feel after I hang out with this person because it is never uplifting. I know we will talk about the same issue. There is a pastor, I think, who told me once that if someone goes to them for counseling, they have a certain limit as to the number of sessions they can have with this person.
Yeah.
Concerning one matter.
Concerning one matter.
Yeah.
Because he says, if by session X we haven't made progress, clearly I'm not the right counselor for you. We probably should look for someone else who is able to dig deeper and find out your issue and help you come out of it in a healthy manner. Because otherwise, if with me you come in session after session after session, we are talking about the same thing, even the assignments that I give you don't do anything for you, then it looks like a me kind of problem. Mimi kama pastor, I will remove myself from the situation.
Maybe go and begin with somebody else so that they're able to dig better.
Exactly.
Or maybe get an exorcist, because
it might be demonic.
what? Yeah. Because really, how can you really not get over something like that? Like,
It's true.
forgive and forget. It's, someone says that, you forgive, or you hold unforgiveness in your life, expecting, or like, unforgiveness is like poison. You take it and expect the other person to die.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it is you who's dying the slow death. Just forgive and move on. And if that relationship, honestly, is not salvageable, let it go. Unfortunately, I've had to let go of a friend like that. I wish I had your wisdom. That was just picked up in a hurry.
I'm the one, I work through unforgiveness, so I have my struggles.
Yeah. No, we all have our struggles about unforgiveness, babe, because they hurt us at different levels. It takes a bit of time to get over things. It's not magic,
not magic.
But surely there should be a threshold. If after 1 year you're still talking about the same thing, you're the exorcism.
You stepped on my foot. You remember in 2018 when we were walking in town, Kimathi Street, or just before that statue for Kimathi. What?
Why are you so detailed about that? What? No. For real, that's holy water. Sprinkling of holy water.
And people who have that tendency of dwelling on one thing over and over again. So first of all, they always make every meeting about them.
Yeah.
So that friendship now starts becoming one-sided.
Yeah.
And then number two, what happens is, as you get friends and people realize you're that kind of person, we're going to be dwelling on the same thing 3-4 years later, your turnover for friends is very high. You get, like, your turnover for friends is very high. So you start feeling like people are always leaving you. Now you get more issues.
Because
when Nani hurt me when they left my life.
So every time, like, it becomes,
can't.
and someone who's in that position needs to seek help.
Absolutely.
There's a meme I saw this week that was saying that if you have to talk about the same issue to more than 3 people, you're not looking for solutions, you're looking for attention.
So that makes so much
Actually,
sense.
for me, by the time I'm done with the first person, like, maybe if I call you, that's why I get so frustrated when I call you and you don't pick up my phone, because, like, I just need to get it out of my system.
Then I'll be fine.
I'll be okay. So by the time I've called somebody else to rant, and then you call me back 20 minutes later, I'm done. I'm done.
It's over.
There's
You know what
nothing
is
more,
funny about ranting with your friends is I'll call you over an issue, rant, you're my sounding board. Then tomorrow you'll call me with now the issue, but now it's yours. So now I'm your sounding board. What? So sometimes I'm always telling you, like you told me.
I won't even bother. I won't bother thinking about wise things to say. Remember that time when you told me?
That was just
we digress.
I know. So back to the red flags.
Scholar, you have an issue with possessiveness or over possessiveness.
Yes, and this one I have experienced it.
Okay.
So I once had a friend who wouldn't let me be friends with anyone else.
Wow.
I'm so sorry.
Babe, you've not dated someone
Yeah,
like
and we are not.
See,
Yeah,
babe,
we are not
this is
dating.
This is like
This
a
is
normal
friendship.
like
Okay.
Like
Platonic
this
friendship.
is friendship. Like, I'm at work, you call me at 11, you call me at 11:30, you call me at 12. I'm like, madam, I'm not self-employed. I can't just be walking out, and it's not 2 minutes conversation. You check in at every point of your life. I'm just like, I can't. First, I struggle with
conversations
generally. 2, I struggle with closeness, personal space, because for me, personal space is not just this, like you sitting close to me. It's also you allowing me time to debrief from you. So I didn't have time to debrief. And
when you called 1 hour ago,
I can't. And for me, I don't think that's healthy.
Yeah.
Because I'm not an island. I can't be everything for you. I can't be your pastor, your priestess, your exorcist, your police, your cancer. I can't. I don't have the energy or the capacity to do that for you or for anyone. If anything, I will keep failing you. So I removed myself from the friendship. Yeah, I couldn't. I couldn't.
My question would be, like, I get this whole concept of being over, like, it's, yeah. So, but how do, okay, it's not a red flag, probably very unrelated, but how do, I don't like the look you're
Really? No, there's something running in my head. I'm like, was she straight? No. Was she really?
Yeah, she was.
Okay, so how do you deal with the fact that you see your friends have other friends?
Yes.
I'm your friend,
Yeah.
but I also have Scholar. I also have the other person.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with times when, you know, there are usually moments when you feel like people are slipping off your hands. So how do you as a person deal with that? I don't know if I'm making sense. I hope you guys have gotten my question already. But you know, how do you deal with balancing that where you know, okay, so this is my friend. I treasure them so much.
Yeah.
There are times I just want them to be my friend,
Yeah.
but I understand they have other friends,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, so
yeah.
that it doesn't borderline become
Possession. Obsessions.
exactly. Yeah, I just don't know my
Yeah.
question. I don't know my question.
No,
makes
it
sense.
makes sense. I think it's a thing that comes with maturity, to be honest.
Yeah.
Coming up, like when we were younger, we had this best friend thing.
Yeah.
I'm always hanging out with Daisy. You see me, like every time anyone sees Daisy, they're like, "Where's Scholar?" It's like,
It even becomes offensive. It's like, rude. Is there no other conversation you wish to have with me?
Yeah.
so. But with time, for me, as I have gotten older, Jane Nyambura, I trust the position I have in your heart and in your life as a friend.
Absolutely.
Daisy, I know where I am. So whether you have 27 other friends, it really doesn't matter. And for me, the important thing is that you as my friend thrives. So if for you to thrive, you need other communities, I really need to be able to allow you to be in those communities. Some of us thrive in our solitude. So then you as a friend, you need to allow me to be in my solitude in order for me to be better when we come together. Because otherwise, if we are constantly pulling and tugging at what this other person needs to become a better person, then isn't that a red flag?
It is. It is.
I think.
Wrapped.
Yeah.
Done.
Let me tell you, the only time that doesn't work necessarily for me
Yeah.
is when it comes to like my mom.
But your mother is your mother. That's
Yeah,
a totally
like, yeah.
different
We talked about friendships and inner circles, right? And I know we share that thing.
My mother
And
is
it's about
mine.
to be Mother's. Yeah, it's about to be Mother's
Yeah.
Day. Like, I just don't appreciate
Yeah.
like an encroaching
Yeah.
of my relationship with my mom. I'm like,
yeah.
you
My
belong
mother is
to me.
Yeah.
You really belong
when
to me.
When I was in high school, so if you guys, you know my mom, everyone calls her mom, even like at the workplace, she's
Yeah.
mom to everyone.
Yeah.
So she has this thing where every year she's receiving international guests. So there's a period in high school, it was like twice or thrice a year. So like sometimes I'm on holiday, but we have interns. And everyone is just, mom, 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 mom. So one day I got so upset, I wrote her a long message. I don't feel like I'm your only daughter. We are so many in this house. I'm just like, all of you can call my mom, mom.
Yeah.
But I am
But
She's my supreme mother. Do you understand?
the
like, you know,
supreme
daughter.
daughter.
for Tabby and I, we are, that's like we are the upper,
Yeah.
at the top of it.
Yeah.
But I get that. Like, I don't want to
Yeah,
share mom.
yeah,
Yeah, I really
yeah.
no.
We're just, it's just me and
I
my
will
small
possess
sister.
my mother.
Yeah, me and my small sister and our mother. So,
Yeah.
mom, we are not sharing you.
And by the way, we have other siblings.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not like we don't have other
Yeah,
siblings. It's just that, just in the same way, Scholar, you're saying that you trust your position in this person's life. I think it's the same thing with, you know, with moms, with our moms. Is
Yeah.
that the relationships that we have with them are so sacred. They're so
Yeah.
personal.
That's true.
It's
Yeah.
different from what somebody else will have with them.
Yeah.
But for me, I just need to know and understand that I can call her at any time and she won't tell me, oh, but I'm sorry, I'm talking to... No, ma'am, no. I need you now. I need you now, and it is now. It's not a conversation for later. Like me, I've called my mom severally, and she's like, I'm busy. I'm like, no, but you just have 5 minutes. You just have 5 minutes, and genuinely that time she's like in a meeting or something, and I live there, I'm like,
I'm not happy.
so I asked myself, really, are you an adult? Really? Really, are you an adult?
Oh, wow.
Okay, no, but it's just so beautiful to be in a space like that. Nyambura, your second issue is friends who are not sincere.
Yeah, I think, you know, as we've discussed the other points, we've actually talked about friends who are, is it insincere or not sincere?
I have
No
no
idea.
idea.
I don't even know what is
Friends who are not
sincere.
What is English?
Yeah, what is that? Ilikuja na meli. What is? Thank you. So, you know, friends who are not sincere. Every time you talk to your friend, and the one constant feeling I know you should not have with a friend who is genuine is you talk to them and then you go sit down and you're like, was that conversation necessary? You get, like, you always have self-doubt sometimes after having a conversation with them, or their response to your issues have always been, you know, they have some sort of bile, or you know, like, you're just like, I'm not really sure how, like, you sometimes it's not something you can really pick and say this is what they say that
It's
was
true,
wrong.
yeah.
It was sometimes it's just their reaction, it's how they receive your news, or it's how they leave you feeling after you've been vulnerable with them.
Yeah.
So that's usually one of the ways to tell whether your friend is, you know, sincere or not.
Yeah.
I don't know, sincere or not, you know. So I don't want to belabor that point because we've talked about, you know.
Yeah. Do you think it stems from jealousy, or can stem from jealousy?
Yeah.
And
It's
what
on.
now you are saying, benefits. So probably the only reason the friend is in your life is because of the thing they're benefiting. But other aspects of your life, they are jealous about.
Yeah.
So then the entire setup of the friendship is not a sincere setup, because first they're lying that they're your friends because they're only your friends because they're getting that thing.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they're not sincere in the aspect that they're not happy about your life in general. Yeah.
I think I want to play devil's advocate there and say, yes, it can stem from jealousy. But if you look at it on the flip side, it could be that this person is actually going through something themselves, that they are unable to fully be present in that space that you need them to be, or fully come out as exactly what you need them to be. It could be that they're going through something that's bothering them internally, an inadequacy or an imposter syndrome within themselves at that particular time. But of course, if it goes on for a prolonged period of time, beyond reasonable amounts of time, then check it out. And just maybe X that friend or whatever it is that you need to do.
I also think if the friendship is genuine, then there's also a very high possibility that I know what you're going through.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's...
I'm not living in oblivion.
Exactly. So if I share with you, you know, what I want to share with you, and the reception is not as I expect it at that moment, I think I'd be able to understand if it stems from a current situation or something you're going through, because I know, like, I'm your friend. I know the season you are in. I know what you're going through. I would probably even have guessed this is a pressure point. And maybe one of the things I'm telling myself is, God, you know, I would probably not have wanted to share this news right now, but truly, she's the first person I would want to tell. You know, I don't want her to hear this from anyone else. I want her to hear it from me. So it could be a source of pain. So even as I deliver the news,
it will be packaged in a certain way.
Okay. I get that. Well, my second, is it the second or third? I don't know.
Some point.
At some point, it's just his lack of, actually, it's matching second, but it is lack of respect, lack of mutual respect, or just simply lack of respect.
Yeah.
And this one is two-way. I think for me, one of the reasons why my adult, I call myself an adult.
You're an adult. An old one, in fact.
Aye, okay. So one of the reasons why I think my adult relationships work is because, in regards to respect, is because the individuals in my life already respect themselves.
Yeah.
And so it's easy for them to respect me. So that's one thing. And that also stems or is manifested in, respecting each other's boundaries, because I know my friends have boundaries in and of themselves.
Yeah.
Then it's very easy for them to respect my boundaries,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I wouldn't expect anybody else, if not me, to disrespect their boundaries,
Yeah.
to disrespect their time, to
Yeah.
disrespect their spaces, to disrespect anything that concerns them generally. But if I discover that you are being disrespectful of, especially my spaces, it could be physical, emotional, or spiritual spaces. If I discover that you're disrespecting any one of those spaces, I'll be very quick to cut you off from my
Yeah,
life without
yeah.
even a second thought.
Yeah.
Because just the same way, the enemy comes in, dressed or rather appearing to be an angel of light.
Yeah.
It could be that you are literally a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
In that space. And this, especially for my marriage, I have friends who are on the same, we're married, right?
Yeah.
Wow, you're married.
And they,
You've never told you're married.
just leave me alone. I'm married to
You're
a really
Mrs.
incredible guy, but that's not even a topic for today. But I because we are in, almost the same 0 to 5, 5 to 10 spaces, there are very many things that are common in
Yeah.
that space.
Yeah.
So if I was to share with you a struggle that I am personally having with something that's happening in my marriage, and I allow you information, I give you information, number one, I don't expect you to exploit that information outside of that conversation.
Yes.
Like we're having this conversation to finality.
Yeah.
And if you need to make a follow-up, it's okay. But also remember that there are boundaries to this door that I opened.
Yeah.
And it can't go beyond. If you went into the sitting room, it can't go beyond the sitting room.
Yeah.
Unless I give you an opportunity to come into the dining room, come
Yeah.
into the kitchen.
Yeah.
But if I've invited you into the sitting room, please stay there. Stay there. Cross that line. One time. Especially
John
on something
Perry.
as sensitive as marriage.
Yeah.
Cross it
no,
one time.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Babe, let's move on to your question, your third point, rather,
Yeah.
that was friends who are constantly stirring up conflict.
Yeah, it's very related to the point I was saying about causing drama. That, it's just that you have a friend who is always looking for time, anything can be an argument. All the time you're fighting. Everything can be argued, and
Yeah.
they're petty, picking on fights, on everything. Sometimes you just need to know what fights, which battles to pick, and which ones to walk away from,
Yeah.
because you can't always have every time you're just arguing and arguing
Yeah.
and arguing. Yeah, I think we
It's
talked
exhausting.
about that earlier,
Yeah.
so we should have
Yeah.
been combined this and that.
But I think that there's an interesting aspect to that for, friends who, you can tell them something that has happened to you, and then they're like, wow, twende, let's
True,
go, yeah,
true,
let's
true.
go attack it, let's go find it. I'll be honest, sometimes that's usually me, which is very interesting because, I'm conflict averse.
Yeah.
But every time, for example, I go home and there's something wrong, I've gone to handle it. I'm not
But
going
you
to
see,
let
it's
it
not
go.
you looking for drama. It's you sorting out a situation that already has drama.
Yeah.
I think this is the one where you're always causing drama.
Yeah.
You're hanging out, date, waiter amekuja sijui ameangalia mtu aje. Your friend is there. Unaniangaliaje? Unaona
Why would you allow them to look at you like that in the
Yeah.
first place? You say something. Say something. Jeez.
This
always
is
looking
so
for people to
this
hit.
is you now, me. And venye sipendi
Why you
publicity.
embarrassing me?
Iko tu hivi chini ya meza. I'm like, can we
Yeah.
go home now? Because I'm not about this life.
It's true.
I hear you.
Yeah, and it usually stems from deeper issues.
It does,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Honestly, if you analyze yourself and you find that you're always quick to, react,
can't
quick
let
to
things
fight.
go.
Yeah, you can't
Yeah.
let things go.
Yeah. Check yourself.
Unahitaji therapy.
Guys, we've talked about so many red flags, but it's not an exhaustive list.
Yeah.
There's so many other things that we could come up with, but we'd like to hear what you have to say about red flags in your relationships. What are some of the things that you have noticed that are completely a no-go zone to continue that friendship?
Yeah.
Or just areas that you'd be like, I think this then marks the end of this friendship. What are some of those things that you've experienced? We'd like to hear from you. So feel free to comment in our section down below, comment section down below. We'd love to hear from you. We love engaging with you. So please go ahead. And thank you so much for being with us again. We are very sorry about being MIA for so long, but we're back and we're back strongly. We're back. I can only think of non-gospel songs. I would have sung, but all the songs in my head are not gospel, so I'm not going to expose myself like that. Sitaenda huko, right? But thank you so much. We're back, stronger than ever, and we pray. But please also pray for us that the Lord will allow us to do this. And the enemy would stop really attacking us to stop attacking our meeting together. So thank you. We love you. We mean it. Bye.
Bye.